Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Debbie Colworth, and I am a medical laboratory technician at Cape Fear Valley Medical Center in transfusion service. Today I am here to introduce you all to IMMUKOR Galileo Echo. The objectives of this presentation are for everyone to have the ability to discuss solid phase methodology, the ability to identify the important components of the Galileo Echo, the ability to understand QC and maintenance rules, be able to differentiate between positive and negative reactions, be able to troubleshoot when warnings and errors occur, and also be able to operate the Galileo Echo efficiently. The activities involved in this presentation will include a PowerPoint handout as well as a wet lab to allow individuals the ability to have hands-on opportunity with the Galileo Echo. For evaluations, everyone will be assigned a quiz that will be multiple choice, matching and true-false, and there will also be a competency checklist for the wet lab. Now I'm going to introduce you to Galileo Echo. There are several important components of the Echo. You have your PC, which includes your monitor, as well as your CPU and your printer. This is your fluidics module. Your fluidics module houses your waste container and your system liquids container. Your system liquid is phosphate buffered saline. Also inside your fluidics module is your 100 microliter syringe, your 1 ml syringe, and a peristatic pump. This is the instrument module. Inside the instrument module, you have one probe that samples patient samples, and reagents. You have your sample loading bay and your reagent loading bay. On each side, there are barcode readers that will read the barcodes for your samples. Your sample barcodes will include your patient identification, the name, and any pertinent information your LIS has set up. Your barcodes for your reagents will include your lot number, your expiration, and also the Galileo Echo is capable of holding onto information as far as how many times the bottle has been on and off the machine and the total amount of time the bottle has been on and off the machine. The racks for the reagents have a symbol on them that resembles a reagent bottle. There are 4 slots on the reagent rack for a total of 16 reagent bottles that can be on the analyzer at any given time. The patient sample racks have a picture on them that resemble a test tube. There is also a baby rack that has a picture of a baby on it. And also we have a rack for our donor confirmations. Okay. To run assays on the, well, let's get back to the instrument module. On the instrument module, you also have your microwell strip loading bay. It also acts as your ambient temperature incubator. Inside the instrument, you have your centrifuge, which is located down here, and you have your 37-degree incubators. You also have your washer manifold and a mechanism that moves the moves the strip wells from one station to the next. To load samples on the instrument, I will demonstrate now. This is a patient sample. It goes in the patient loading bay. And on the screen, my instrument has acknowledged that I have put a sample in this location. To run a sample, I will click on, it's called the running man, and I will choose which test I would like to run. The assays that can be run on the Galileo Echo include ABO groups and RH types, antibody screens, DATs, confirmation types for your donors, ready ID, which would be like an antibody ID panel like you would do in tube or gel, a weak D, and also phenotyping. I'm going to do a group on this patient. And it's asking me which sample do I want to do my group on. The Galileo Echo also has what's known as stat indication. If I had more samples on this instrument, I could say that I want this one to be run stat. So this sample would take priority over any other ones that are on the machine. Here is my supplies menu. It's asking me it's telling me which which supplies I need to put on the Galileo Echo. So I need one holder containing a CMT strip and a balance strip. This is a micro well strip holder tray. Excuse me. This is a micro well strip holder. I will have my CMT micro well strip, and since I'm only running one sample, my holder needs to be balanced, so I will put a balance strip. Then I just slide it in like you put a pizza in the oven. He has acknowledged that I have put a strip in, so he's going to take it down and read the two-dimensional barcode on the micro well strip. That two-dimensional barcode houses the lot number, expiration date, and if this strip had been on the machine previously, it would also know that. So he is telling me now that he has everything that he needs to run this group on my patient. So I tell him to begin test. Down here is my status bar in red. That is telling me that that is a stat sample that I have on. If it were white, that would just be a routine sample. Yellow would be QC. These are warning flags that are just telling me that he is trying to identify the strips that I have placed on my holder, but there are no strips there, and that's fine. You don't have to load the whole thing up with strips. If you take a look at our probe, he is sampling. Now he's washing in the wash bay. You have to excuse the saline. And he's going down into his reagents. I'm putting them in the micro well strip. The first time that the probe goes down and comes back up real quickly, that's just checking the volume. Wants to make sure that the bottle has the volume in it that he thinks it has in it. That is to prevent any probe crashes. Now he is sampling from our patient, and he's going to move it into the camera, and the camera is just going to check for any kind of, like if he had went down and took cells instead of plasma, it's checking for the color. Now it's going to come over and get your cells. Going to get a little bit of saline in there to make a suspension. And he's going to make his 3 to 5% suspension. He's very efficient. And he drops his drop. And gets rid of the rest. Okay, well that was the introduction to the Galileo Echo. I hope you all did well on your quiz, and I hope that everyone is confident in efficiently running the Galileo Echo. Thank you.